For those who don't already know, I used to be an assistant teacher at this daycare preschool while I was in college. I took care of kids as young as 1.5 years old to 5 years old, and while I was working here, there was a lot of unusual and creepy activity that went on. So I'm going to be sharing a few incidents that happened to me and the children, and the chilling details I learned as I did some investigation. So when I first started working at this preschool, I didn't hear anything about there being a ghost or about the place even being haunted. There weren't toys being possessed, chairs flying, or demonic babies crawling on the roof or anything. But my first experience of things feeling a little weird was my experience working with these siblings who attended the preschool a year apart from each other. I first worked with the older brother in a class of 2 to 3-year-olds. We'll call him Oliver. So, Oliver was a quiet child and would usually play by himself. He was very well behaved and almost always did as he was told. One day, while we were getting ready for nap time, I remember sitting next to him in bed and patting his back until he fell asleep. After putting one child to sleep, I would go around the classroom helping other children, and then I would do another round and walk around the classroom just to see if everyone was still asleep. But as I reached Oliver's bed, he was gone. I didn't freak out initially because sometimes the kids would get up to go to the bathroom and forget to let the teachers know beforehand like they're supposed to. But when I turned to the bathroom, I thought it was unusual that the lights were off and I didn't hear any movements. Was Oliver really in the bathroom? I was confused, but I walked over to the bathroom whispering out for him, "Oliver? Oliver." And then I saw him, standing in the dark corner of this bathroom. He was standing there with his back to me, looking up and staring at one of the corners of the roof. And then Oliver started giggling. Oliver, did you need to use the potty? Alright, then let's go back and we can play some more after nap time, okay? After this incident, he would continue to do this a few more times, but the master teacher who was in charge of this classroom would just brush it off, saying, "He's probably just exhibiting signs of schizophrenia and we'll just lock the bathroom doors during nap time." A year later, Oliver would advance to a different class, and I would be able to work with his little sister who we'll call Olivia. So Olivia was very much like Oliver in that she was very to herself and just quietly went along with what the teachers said. She was also like Oliver in that during nap time, she would disappear. And yep, we would find her in the bathroom, staring at the same roof corner, quietly giggling, just as Oliver did. At this point, I started believing that this couldn't be a coincidence. So it was during this time that I now started to be more conscious of that weird corner in the bathroom. I would feel very uncomfortable every time I had to go in there to change diapers, and these feelings would only get worse as I began to notice that some children started to scream and cry out of nowhere while we were in there, something that's never happened before. And these weren't cries of pain. Most of the kids were 2 to 3 years old and were capable enough to express their feelings in words. But at these moments, they would either just scream bloody murder or quietly cry as I changed them. And what the scary part is that they weren't looking at me or any other part of their body that could be in pain. They were looking in horror at something behind me. So here is an actual photo I managed to take of the bathroom that this story takes place in. I'm sorry, it's a really weird shot. I really didn't want to go in there by myself. So behind this wall is a changing table where I would change the kids' diapers. So I would be facing this way and the children would be facing the other way. And so their line of sight would be the corner behind. And guys, I don't even know what it is about this corner, but it just looks super creepy. One blessed holy day during our closing time, one of the kids' dad was late in picking him up. So the boy was just sitting in the front office waiting for him. We'll call this boy Eugene. I decided to take Eugene with me to go lock up the classrooms. So we had some fun skipping around to each classroom, pretending like we were on a field trip adventure, locking up the doors. Finally, we got to the last classroom with the forbidden bathroom. As I went to go lock the doors on one side of the classroom, Eugene went off to the other side around the cubby area to go play. Then Eugene said something unusual. Hi, my name's Eugene. I know your name, silly. Eugene wasn't talking to me. He wasn't even facing me. Eugene, who are you talking to? Little did I know his response would be so chilling. Eugene looked at me, then at the corner, then back at me, and he said, I can't tell you or he'll be mad.